Hello folks, welcome to the canal Channel Jose. Today we're going to show you how to fit or adapt a system to your classic car, and that way you can take your baby in a cruise, and that way you can take your baby for a cruise, car show, or just a daily drive. And today we're going to show you how that's done, simple and easy. So this is the U-bolt that I'm going to be using. This is 2 and let's see, 2.5 of wide, but it's for 1.5 inch pipe, and the length of this, because I want my seat is a little deeper than, so it's 5 inches long. So that's how long this bracket is, or this U-bolt. And we're not gonna be using this nut and plate because this plate is really thin, so we had to make our own. And this is twice or 3 times the thickness of that, and we're gonna be putting one in the front inside the cap and one in the bottom through the frame, so they're both sandwich the frame of the car and give a strength to it. So like I said, we're gonna be using these brackets, not these, and we're gonna be using stainless steel Teflon nut instead of these ones. So we're gonna show you how it's gonna be fitted. And this bracket or this U-bolt was about a $2 price per unit, so I bought 2 of them, so I spent about $4 on this. And this is how it's gonna be fitted. So you can get an image. This will be the frame of the car. This is a picture how the sheet metal of the car is gonna be between this. But the sheet metal, we drill through the sheet metal of the car, we leave, and then once we fit it through the holes, one of these brackets is going to be on this side in the inside of the cap, and the other one is going to be in the outside. It's going to sandwich the frame of the car. So we don't use washers, because if you put washers even with the 2 Teflon nuts and then washers on each side, and if you pull really hard, you can rip that through the frame or the sheet metal. So this one covers more surface, so it's really hard to pull it and rip it through the sheet metal of the car. So that's why we're putting the brackets, complete brackets, so they act more stiff and this will be safer. So what we're doing, folks, is that we're gonna cut 4 plates. We're gonna put them through the frame of the car, so they're gonna end up right about here. But before we start drilling, we gotta make sure what's on the other side, so we don't drill into it. It might be a brake line or a fuel line or even the gas tank. So we gotta make sure we start marking where the distance where about is gonna be, and then we start making sure that on the other side is clear. So we drill in and we gotta put this through. So we're gonna be putting the baby seat on the passenger rear seat, because that way when I'm driving I can see her, I can see my baby on an angle, and I don't know what's going on back there. So I can see her just by looking at an angle. She's gonna be here, and then that's why I'm putting it on this side. You can do it to the other side, but for right now I'm setting it up for this side. So these guys are gonna be it. So I remove my rear tire so I can have access to the back and see exactly what's going on. And as I can see, there's a fuel line, but my drilling is gonna be about here, and I put this right next to it so I can see how much distance I need. That's the outside one, and the inside one is gonna be right about this area where the seat belt bolt is. This is the bolt, and then it's gonna be just below that. So I wanted to make sure where about I am gonna end up on this side. So this process is that we're gonna drill into it, into our car, the frame. But before we do that, we wanna make sure that the plate, we wanna line up the plate that is gonna be right on this side, and we wanna line it up so we can make sure that the holes are gonna be really close, so everything matches. And this is the reason why we're doing these plates, because the car, the frame of the car, imagine is this little sheet metal, so it's gonna be right in between this, and it's gonna be like this, like a sandwich. We don't use washers because the reason is because a really hard pull, this can rip right through the frame. So we want these plates to sandwich the car and have it like this. So we're gonna put the Teflon nut, and then all Teflon nut in each side so they don't loosen up. And we're gonna do Loctite as well, and they're stainless steel. These plates, before we put them on, we're gonna paint them, but right now, because we're gonna be using them a lot, they can get scratched, so we're gonna paint them. But this is the metal of the car, the sheet metal, and this is gonna be how it's gonna be grabbing into it. That's why we're using plates instead of washers, so it's gonna end up like this. So we mark where we want it, so we put it. This is the inside bracket. This is gonna be the inside. So we now drill through. So now we have drilled through it. We put this U-bolt through it. And now we just gotta match everything and tighten it down. And this is ready to go. We come down here and we put our bracket. Now we're gonna tighten it down. We put the first bracket in, and that's the middle bracket. We gotta still do the outside one, and tightening down our first bracket. So we have a plate in the outside and a plate on the inside, and I'll show you how is the inside now. So now in the second bracket we have drilled the first hole in, so we're going to drill the second one. And if you want to make sure the bracket doesn't move, you can put a nut, a bolt through it so it doesn't end up tightening it, or put a bolt so it keeps it a little bit in place. So what I'm gonna do, folks, is gonna put my plate, and then on the first hole that we have drilled through it, I just put a bolt through it so it guides it while I drill the other one, so the plate doesn't move out much, so I can have an even space so everything matches the holes as it should. So we put that bolt into it, and then we start drilling. First plate, steel plate over there, and then our second one is gonna be right here. So we gotta give it a little bit more thread, or maybe that'll be just enough. But then we put the plate on, and then we put our Teflon nut and tighten it down. Now we can see, folks, that we have the one tie down point on this side, and then the inside point right over there above the exhaust. So we bolted it down. We'll just go and see how it looks inside. hook on the outside and the hook on the inside. So these are really strong, solid. So this is where gonna be the car seat attached to, and all you have to do is just put these down and put these hooks down, U-bolts, and you can have a tie down point for the baby car seat on a Classic. Okay folks, we have the 66 here ready with the car seat. We have to install it, and we're gonna show you how it's all attached to the frame and how is the seat sitting. So we have the passenger side and we have the driver side, and you can install it, you make it install it in both sides, but I decided to go first on the passenger side, and that way when I'm driving and I got my baby in the car, I can just turn a little bit and see my baby. So that's why I put it right behind the passenger side. So also when I'm driving, I'm a little taller, so as you can see, the seats a little, this seat passenger side has to sit a little bit forward, so my wife is a little shorter, so I can be a little bit more comfortable. So that's the reason I put it on the passenger side. So now with that said, let's show you how it's installed. So on the newer cars, folks, we have these dots or some markings on the seat, and this is where our baby seat is always attached to, and we have one, and there's another one right below that. In the group there's a hook, so they're about 11 inches from hook to hook, 12 or 11 inches apart. So I'm going to show you what's the one side. There's that hook right there, there's one hook, and the other one is a little harder to look at, but it's right there. So that's where the you see, that's where the baby seat hooks into. So once you do that, you adjust the strap, the car seat gets attached to this, secure, and then some of us, we throw the secondary protection, which is the seat belt. We remove our car seat from the frame, put it aside, and then we're gonna go in there. So this is our passenger rear seat now. We got our hook right here, one of them. This is the U-bolt. This is thicker actually from the other hook on the other car, the Camry. So this is thicker. So as you can see, there's that. That's how it looks. So it actually tucks in, it hides back. And here's the other one. Right there. So there's two of them, 1 and 2, just like the Camry. And now we're gonna put the frame of the car seat right in there. And now we're about to install our car seat, and first thing you want to do is extend these straps, these points, tie down points, all the way out, so you get the tie down points in there with no problem, so you don't have to fight it. So the first tie down point, we put it right there. It's right in there. The second tie down point is right over here. Once you do that, you get your strap and you start adjusting and bringing this to a complete tie down point. So the car seat is firm and it's right in there. So now we do that, we put our car seat and we're ready to roll. We get the first hook right in there. You can see that it's hooked into it. Now we get our second hook right in there. So now what we do is we tie down our car seat. We tie down. When we are tied down completely, you can see where the hook is right in there. And then on the other side, it's right in there. This is how the hook hooks into it. As you can see, solid, rigid, and then that's how it would be. And the reason it's rounded is because I didn't want to have the flat one, because then it will slide side to side, and I didn't want to have any trouble from the seat sliding side to side, because one hook is hooked here and then it will loosen, slide out. So the higher point is right here. So once I tighten it, this is gonna be where it's gonna be sitting at. So I didn't want to put the flat ones. Some people might want to choose that, but for me, this is what works, because round, and this is the highest point, and this is where it's gonna end up at. So I can hook it here, but then once it's tightening down, it's gonna end up about this area. And well, folks, I hope you have enjoyed this video, how to modify or retrofit your car seat into an older car, or the older car to a newer system, so you can fit your baby seat into it, and you can go for a cruise or a car show. And hopefully you find this info useful, and we'll see you soon with more videos here in el canal de Chano Jose.